Inheritance patterns of genetic disorders. There are different patterns of inheritance of the genetic disorders. Most common, they are autosomal dominant. In case of autosomal dominant, the individual is usually heterozygote. The individual have two alleles. One of the allele is affected while the second allele is unaffected. If there is such a situation, then the pattern of inheritance is called as autosomal dominant. While in case of autosomal recessive, the individual is homozygous. The meaning of the homozygous is that both the alleles, they are affected. In case of X-linked inheritance, mutated alleles, they are present on either of the sex chromosome. They are present on the X chromosome, they can be present on the Y chromosome. So those diseases whose gene or the mutated allele are present on either of the sex chromosome, they are called as sex-linked diseases. Multifactorial diseases are those diseases in which there is a joint venture or joint contribution between gene and environment. They both contribute for the incidence of those diseases. Such diseases are called as multifactorial diseases. Multifactorial diseases, they are frequent, they are most common, while on the other hand, single gene disorders, they are less frequent. If we do the comparison between genes and the genetic disorders are due to the genes. If the sequence of the gene is normal, then the individual would not have the disease, while if there is a mutation in the gene, the individual would have genetic disorder, also called as genetic diseases. If we see that what are the roles of the genes and where genes are located, so genes, they are located on the chromosomes, they are heredity units. Genes located on chromosomes, genes, they regulate all the traits or all the phenotypes. So all the diseases, they appear in the individual due to the mutation in the genes. Those diseases which are due to the mutation of the genes are called as genetic disorders. So genes, they have alternative forms, allele 1, allele 2, allele 3. There can be multiple alleles. Genes are inherited from the parents. They transfer from parents to the offsprings. Genes collectively comprise individual's genome. So all the genes which are present in an individual, the combination of all the gene is called as genome of that individual. Genes are made up of the sequences, in case of DNA or in case of RNA. So gene can be made up of DNA and it can be made up of RNA. It can be the sequence of RNA and it can be the sequence of DNA. So DNA and RNA, these are the sequences, and genes are made up of the DNA. So DNA, if there is a change or mutation in the DNA, the individual would have disease which is called as a hereditary disease or genetic disease. So there are also certain repeats on the DNA sequences which are also responsible for certain genetic disorders, like the example is Huntington disease. In addition to those diseases which are due to the mutation in the single gene or multifactorial, there are some diseases which are called as chromosomal diseases. Chromosomal diseases are those diseases where multiple, even sometimes thousands of the genes, they are involved, and due to the chromosomal diseases, multiple organs of the body, they are also involved.